All about games. It's games junkie Gerard Campbell from stuff.co.nz.
Let's play tonight.
I can see through. Go!
Ned! Come on! Look out!
McNeil, get out of there! It's gonna collapse! At least we don't need to rebuild the barricade.
Finding the right people.
That is the sounds of Deep Space Extraction, which is the film. When I say film, it's the kind of like movie, like games are like films these days anyway. But it is the game we're looking at on the Nintendo Wii today with our game junkie Gerard Campbell from stuff.co.nz. How are you doing, Gerard?
I'm very well. Wammo, very, very, very well.
Nice to be looking at another one from the Nintendo Wii this time as well. You've had
the Wii's really coming out now. I mean, I think it's traditionally been known as sort of more family friendly, but I think there's a lot more, a few more mature titles coming out, which I think, you know, hardcore gamers and those that want maybe just a wee bit more than the cutesy factor can really get into and enjoy.
Now, this, have you had a hands-on with this game at all? Is it a hands-on experience yet?
Oh, very much. I've been playing it quite a bit for the last week, and it's one of those ones that really grows on you. There was a game that came out for the Xbox and the PS3 last year called Dead Space. It came from EA, and it was a survival horror, and it actually was a bit of a sleeper hit because it told the story of, you know, you were this lone guy, I guess like an engineer guy who had to investigate, this deep space mining vessel called the Ishimura, which had found some, alien artifact on a planet, and then strange things started happening to the crew. So you played this guy called Isaac Clarke, and you had to, just investigate what happened to the crew. And along the way, he came across these weird creatures called necromorphs, which seem to be mutated crew members, and they've got spikes coming out of their arms, and they've got heads on big necks, and they're pretty gross. And so Extraction is called a prequel to Dead Space, so pretty much it sort of tells the things that happened before the horror that happened to Ishimura. And yeah, I've played it a lot for the weekend. I'm really, really pleasantly surprised at how great it is.
You just said survival horror. Is that a whole subgenre in itself?
Oh, look, it is. It's it's one of those genres that it's pretty much you against the elements, and you've got to creep your way around, all number of horrors, and things jump out at you. And it's there's been some great ones like Blood Siren on the PS3, and there's probably things like I guess to an extent Resident Evil and those sorts of things, that they've got zombies and monsters and those sort of things in it, and they tend to have dark locations and moody music, and you can just anticipate that things are going to jump out and get you. But the really cool thing I think about Dead Space Extraction on the Wii is that you don't actually control your character's legs. You cannot control the movement of him. So it's done by it's really cleverly well done. It's a first-person shooter, but what you control is that you can control the shooting using the Wii remote to shoot, with a variety of weapons, like because he's an engineer, so he's got a rivet gun that fires rivets, and you can pick up, plasma guns and laser beam weapons and those sorts of things. But I think what adds to a lot of the tension about this one is that because you can't control the movement of the character, so it gets moved for you. So when you find yourself in a situation with several necromorphs attacking with you, as you could in a lot of other survival horrors, you can actually back away if you want from the situation, or if you're a scaredy cat, you can hide somewhere.
Yeah.
Here you can't. You have to actually stick it out until that sequence is finished, and then it moves on to the next extra, and it actually works really, really well. You
don't feel like things are a little bit out of control? I mean, I'm so used to being able to move a character around, I'd feel a little bit helpless, like I didn't have hands on the steering wheel.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It's I guess it's most akin to, the games like, the term on rails has been thrown around for this one, and I guess it's very similar to things like Time Crisis, where you that game itself controlled the movement of your character and you controlled the shooting. And while it does take a wee bit getting used to, because, when I first started playing it, just instinctively, I'd move the joystick on the nunchuck on the Wii and, nothing happens. But then once you get into it, you actually think, it actually adds a nice dimension, and I think it works extremely well, I don't think, it certainly wouldn't have worked on a PS3 or an Xbox 360 because you haven't got the motion sensitive thing of the Wii. But I think for the Wii, it's obvious that this is a brand new game that was created from the ground up, rather than what we call a port, which is they take the original game which was on another platform and just tweak it a wee bit. Sell it on another one.
But is it also because of the limitation of the controller as well that they had to build this in?
Yeah, I think it probably was. There's certainly, I think the Wii, because of its unique features, it probably can't do a lot of things extremely well. Like with some first-person shooters, I've found that, especially on the Wii, that because a Wii remote can be quite sensitive, you can find your movement can be very sort of erratic. So I think that doing it this way, it's actually solved that problem of erratic movement. But part of me wonders whether it was a conscious decision to actually try and bring back something different, and I think to make it stand out. Before I've heard that EA are treating this as almost an experiment to whether they'll do mature games for the Wii. And if it works, and I hope it does, then we'll hopefully see more sort of games along this line.
So did you play this game with the lights off? Were there any sort of jump out of your skin moments?
No, I didn't play with the lights off. I played with the night a couple of times, but no, I don't think. If I compared it to the original Dead Space, no, I don't think it's as scary. But there are certainly moments when you've got creatures jumping out of the ceiling in front of you, or there's situations where, and I think this brings in another aspect that you can do with the Wii. There are situations where some of the necromorphs would actually grab you, and you've got to shake the Wii. You've got to shake the Wii to shake them off. Right. Then you press the A button, and that'll push them off. So I think the Wii has brought some nice little touches, and certainly if I compared it with the original Dead Space and Extraction, I think the original was much scarier. But I think in terms of innovation, I think that this Extraction has brought a lot more to the table.
Is there any co-op play at all?
Yes, there is. There is co-op play. I haven't tried it, but there's a chance for two of you to, because most of the story is that there is your main character, and you have to escort 3 other survivors of this catastrophe on a planet called Aegis 7. So for most of the game, you have to escort 3 other survivors from the catastrophe to the Ishimura and then off the Ishimura. So the options are there for you, for another player to control one of the other survivors, and so you can sort of take on the necromorphs yourself. And I'd say that would be a lot of fun. It would be a lot of fun, I'd say, as well.
So any final verdict on this one? Are you going to complete it? Do you want to complete it?
Oh, yeah, I do. I think, it's one of those ones that I wasn't sure what to expect from it, but it actually has pleasantly surprised me, and I'd like to see the story through and actually see what happens to, those main characters, how they, get off the Ishimura and that sort of thing. So, it's one of these ones that I'm going to see through the end and just, soak up the story, and hopefully there'll be some more sequels to it on the Wii.
Cool. Deep Space Extraction on the Nintendo Wii is the name of the game we've just been looking at. You can check out Game Junkie's blog at stuff.co.nz. Click on to the technology section there and hit you up on Twitter, Game Junkie. What do you reckon?
Yes, go to there. I should be on there most of the time during the day, although I shouldn't say all of the time during the day, but during the day.
Twitter.com /GameJunkieNZ is where you'll find them. Cheers, Gerard.
Thank you very much, Wammo.